Warning, there are profanity, topics, and other opinions that could offend you. Please watch and or listen at your own risk, and enjoy the show. Hey guys, what's up? It's RDiK here, or Old School Duelist 12, whatever you want to call me, and welcome back to another amazing episode of the Voidcast, where no topic is off the table. This week's episode, we are going to talk about Nintendo and what the hell is going on. And we're also going to talk about the Dragon Ball Super movie coming out this week, or pretty sure it's this week. But we're just going to talk about that, because I've been on a Dragon Ball kick recently. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, and then I also have an announcement at the end of the episode. So if you want to hear all that and more, then stay tuned. Okay guys, so that was just something, I just want to try something new, just everything before the intro and everything. But yes, anyways, I'm just going to let you guys know right now that I am just not really in the mood 100%, but I still wanted to give you guys something with the recent, got a couple new subscribers, so, I wanted to make sure they got their Monday video. It's a little bit late, and I apologize for that, but, life happened. Literally, life is happening for me right now, and a lot of things are just happening. I'm not going to go into too many details. I'm not going to go into any details, actually. I'm going to keep it kind of personal. Just know, not everything's okay. So, but, need to go on with the show and my life. I can't put my life on hold 100% because of issues. So, anyways, moving on. So, we're going to talk about the Dragon Ball Super movie. It's not really too much that I wanted to talk about because I've been on a huge Dragon Ball kick. I'm super duper excited for this movie. It's the first Broly movie, for you people that just don't know. This will make Broly canon, so all the other movies with Broly, they weren't canon, but this will make it for real canon. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited for this movie. It's something that I'm just super duper excited for. I literally cannot wait to go watch it. So yeah. Like I said, I'm excited. I'm really excited, to be 100% honest. I'm just excited because I've been on a huge kick. I've been listening to a lot of like panels, interviews with Sean Schimmel and Chris, I can't remember his last name, but the voices of Goku and Vegeta, and anything else I can just listen to. I'm trying to stay away from any spoilers. I've only seen one trailer, and that was the first trailer that came out for the movie. I haven't watched any other trailers. There's other things that I learned about the movie that I just accidentally learned, like Gogeta being in the movie, so Gogeta will be canon. So we're getting two things that are officially canon now, and that is Broly and Gogeta. So that's pretty fucking cool. I'm super duper excited for that to become canon. I don't know, it's like I always thought Gogeta was canon, but turns out he actually wasn't. Broly, I knew he never was canon, but I always thought Gogeta was canon. But then, Janemba, that wasn't an official thing, or that wasn't like a canon storyline, but whatever. Anyways, it's really cool to finally see Dragon Ball, something I grew up with, and seeing Super. I still haven't watched Tournament of Power because if you guys have listened in the past, I've mentioned that I don't really like watching subbed animes. So I haven't seen the entire Tournament of Power. I've watched a couple fights. I watched Goku Master Ultra Instinct, so that was pretty cool to watch. It was just kind of like I was at my local shop, everyone else was watching it, so I was like, fuck it, I'll watch it with it. It makes me, personally, I kind of feel like a scumbag for being like, oh yeah, Master Instinct was really cool when Goku turned Master Instinct. So yeah, it was kind of like a scumbag being able to say that without watching the entire Tournament of Power. So yeah, I'm waiting for it to be dubbed. just finished the Goku Black arc because I haven't finished it because Funimation hasn't put it up there all the way yet, and it kind of sucks. But whatever, what can I know? And I'm pretty sure I won't see the Tournament of Power until after Broly. So it kind of sucks. I don't know. Part of me kind of wants to finish the tournament, or just like binge the Tournament of Power. But the only thing is, usually when I watch TV shows or animes, I throw it up and then I'm doing something. Like I'll be editing a video, or I'll be working on my project that I've been working on, or I'll just be doing something. Like I'll be doing some type of something, playing on my Switch. It's something. I don't know, just anything. So that's why it's really hard for me to watch subbed animes. Just because I have to fucking pay attention and watch it. I can't just be like, boop, alright, I'm going to go mess with my cards, or I'm going to go play Switch, or I'm going to do whatever the fuck. So it's really hard to do. And that's the biggest reason why I don't like watching subbed animes, because I have to actually watch the entire thing and pay attention. I can't just hear the dialogue and then if I hear some shit going down, I look. But yeah, no, it really sucks. But I'm really excited to go see this. I don't know if I'll be able to go. I don't know if I'll be able to watch it on the day of release. But I'm definitely gonna try. I'm definitely gonna try to go see it. But oh well. What can I do about it? Not a damn thing. Anyways. So before we get into the big thing to talk about, which is Nintendo, I just wanted to quickly just ask you guys to pause the episode right now and tell someone about the podcast. I love the podcast. I love doing the podcast. It's so much fun. I enjoy the shit out of doing this. And so it'd be great to have a bigger audience. It'd be, more people can listen and or watch this idiot behind a microphone just talk for half hour to an hour. If I have some friends on, I have some friends on. I want a bigger audience. I want a fun community. Even if I have a big audience and I'm still not making any money, I still would do this. I love doing the podcast. I love being an entertainer. I love doing the research and talking about cool things, giving my opinion, having people discuss, just starting the whole thing. It'd be awesome. So tell someone about the podcast. Tell one person. That's all I ask you to do, is just tell one person, because that can make a huge difference between having gaining 5 subscribers or 500 subscribers. That could literally make the difference between you not telling someone. And so yeah. Anyways, moving on. The other thing I want to mention is this is not a sponsor, but I still like to give them a shout out, and that's audioboom.com. They're an amazing website. I love it. I love using Audioboom. All I do is I pay the low $10 a month, and I'm allowed to, and they give me the option to upload to the website. Obviously, I have to upload to their website, but I upload to their website, and they also give me the tools to upload to tons of other websites and services or platforms to put the podcast, which iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitch Radio, basically almost anywhere a podcast can go. They give you the tools to put it up there, and it's fucking amazing. I love it. And if you want to start your own podcast, you can just go to audioboom.com, sign up for $10, and boom, bada bing, bada boom. It's awesome. I love it. Anyways, so Nintendo. It's January 14th as of me recording this. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'll be going to work in 3 hours. So yeah, Pokemon. So Nintendo, they've been, usually do a Nintendo Direct in January, the first week or two of January. Well, it's the third week of January, and we still haven't got Nintendo Direct. On a personal level, I think they are I think they've kind of missed their opportunity, because it's not like people wouldn't care. It's just that people were so excited for it in the second week. They were like, "Oh, we might get this, we might get that." People are still, trust me, people are still gonna fucking watch it. People are still gonna be like, "Hell yeah, finally a Nintendo Direct." But let's be honest, people are they feel entitled. So they're be like, "Oh, we finally got the Nintendo Direct a week later," or whatever the fuck. And that's gonna piss me off. Yes, that's really gonna piss me off. Hearing that, saying that, and it's gonna bother me a lot. But I think they missed their best window of opportunity, because it was okay, it's after Christmas. It's that week after New Year's. People finally are like, "All right, let's get some video game news." It's still trust me, people are still gonna be hyped for whatever the fuck they put. But if it's not as amazing as like people are hoping it could be now, then people are gonna be upset. Like I personally, I won't be upset. Whatever the fuck they say, I'm gonna be like, awesome, cool. I can't wait to be excited for those X games they announce. And like I said, because trust me, I used to be so upset with Nintendo Directs when they wouldn't announce games that I wanted to fucking play. But now it's just kind of like, if they announce a game that I really don't care about, like I don't want to play, I'm just gonna be like, oh, that's cool. Someone else will be happy, and I move on with my life. I got other shit I can do. But like, to be honest, we really don't know what they could announce at this. When they do, I don't think they're not going to have a Nintendo Direct in January, but it's just probably going to be a little bit later. It was the 2019 CES, which is basically just a tech convention to show off what new tech and stuff like that. That did happen, so I'm pretty sure Nintendo was there. They maybe were showing off the new Switch. They maybe were just answering some questions about the Switch and shit like that. So like, it's very like, I don't know. I'm just like, I still have tons of questions. I still want to know about Metroid Prime 4, because Metroid Prime 4 is it's like, I love Metroid. I love Metroid a lot. And I'm just kind of waiting. It was announced 2017. We're still waiting on it. Like, I just kind of want to know what the hell's going on. But like I said earlier, I'm not going to be disappointed if they don't talk about it. A Metroid Prime trilogy, I think, is kind of needed. Before, like, I feel like that would be an amazing move just to get some hype. Released it a year before it's released, or released a couple months before. Like, maybe if it's going to be released, if it is going to be released in 2019, then release it beforehand. Like if it is going to be released in 2019, I really feel like Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a end of July, somewhere between end of July and end of September, roughly. Just because that's a big name title, so many people are hyped for it, especially a lot, like the huge fan base is ready for it. So I feel like if you're gonna release it there, I feel like a trilogy would be great for like just summertime, like early summertime, maybe. So yeah, I don't know. It's really weird to think about what could be in this Nintendo Direct, because so many things, so many games have not been announced. Like, we don't know what the hell's going on with it. Like, here, think about it. Like, on Twitter, they had already announced the release dates for Yoshi's Crafted World. We got 2 Final Fantasy games that are the release dates, X2 and Final Fantasy 12. We had those 3 games, and those are 3 games that potentially could take up spots in the January Direct. We got release dates for those in January, or on Twitter, so they might just remind us of them in there, but not really show too much more. Plus, we got quite a bit of release, or like gameplay footage for Crafted World, so we're like, okay, we don't really need to see any more gameplay, because people that are gonna buy Crafted World, their decisions have already been made, because like I said, they already showed a lot of gameplay for it, some of it repeated, but enough to a point where you could make the decision whether or not you want to buy this game or not. The Final Fantasy games, literally, it's just, if you want to know what they're about or anything like that, just look them up, because they're remastered ports of the games. So if you want to know the story and stuff like that, then you literally just look up old versions. So these are probably these are going to be HD versions. So if you are going to if you already enjoy Final Fantasy and you have a Switch, you're probably going to buy these games. Plus, also, the only thing you're really getting out of it is maybe some missions that weren't there, like maybe some quests that weren't in the original game, or something like that, like maybe deleted quests or something like that, and like HD graphics, or maybe an extra mode that wasn't there. So like, there's not really much to show. Like I said, it's probably just reminders. And the only other Final Fantasy game that they still have to talk about and give a release date is Crystal Chronicles, because they said 2019, but I don't feel like they would, like, that was a very popular game, and it was a Nintendo exclusive game, the Crystal Chronicles. So maybe that's a game that they're saving for, because it was multiplayer, but the multiplayer for Crystal Chronicles was only like if you had the Game Boy. So it was just like, so like I said, it was only like if you had the Game Boy thing. So maybe they're going to include online, maybe they're going to do splits, or maybe like, I don't know if they'll do split screen, but the Joy-Cons, because you played the game with a Game Boy Advance or Game Boy SP. So it was like you can play this game with just a Joy-Con. So being able to separate the Joy-Cons and use them as two separate controllers would be good. So maybe they're going to show off that. That's maybe another feature they could add, or online feature, because Nintendo's really trying to push the online thing, which we'll get into a little bit later. So there's not really too much more. Like I said, bumped up graphics, show off an online co-op play, show off like split screen online or split screen play, or like shared console play with the Joy-Cons. And HD, like I said, HD graphics. Other than that, there's not really too much to show off for Crystal Chronicles. And that's very frustrating and very annoying to think about, because it's like, I just want Crystal Chronicles. Like, of all these Final Fantasy games, I really was hoping Final Fantasy 15 was really good to play, but then I ended up looking up, like, just different things. It wasn't that much of a good port for the game for Switch, so I was like, I don't give a shit. Plus, I already own the game on Xbox. Oh, excuse me. I had like 3 burps in a row. So, it's just like, it's really frustrating and really annoying to think about. Like, what could they possibly show in this Direct? I can 99% guarantee it's not going to be Pokemon, because almost every time Pokemon has happened, or like a new Pokemon game, it has its own presentation. It's got its own like 5 to 10 minute like video showing like, hey, here's the new Pokemon game, here's the names, and here's what you got to look forward to right now. Sorry, I had some cord issues going on. So Pokemon's not going to be in it. Luigi's Mansion, a release date and a title is really all they can really show for Luigi's Mansion 3, because we got some gameplay, enough for people to be hype about it. Maybe show a bit more, and that's about it. Animal Crossing, that's another big one where it's just kind of like we got, just hey, it's coming type of situation. So some gameplay, a title, and possibly a release date. But again, I don't see Animal Crossing be an early game. If anything, it'd be like maybe a spring title, but at the same time, you could also say it could be a fall title, as well as Luigi's Mansion. I really feel like they're gonna release around Halloween, or as close as possible to Halloween, at the latest. Like, I don't think it would be November, because let's be honest, Pokemon's gonna release in November, just like it always has for the past 3 or 4 years. So that's not gonna happen. So like I said, it's probably gonna be like in August, September, October at the latest release date for Luigi's Mansion. So that's something that they probably wouldn't show in the Direct if they're saving it for that. If anything, they would show it in maybe the March or April Direct, and E3 or E3 for sure. And the only other game I can think of that would be a huge prominent thing in this Direct is Fire Emblem. I'm not a Fire Emblem fan. I liked the Fire Emblem Heroes, not Heroes, what is it? The Dynasty Warriors Hyrule, or I think it was Heroes. I don't remember, but I don't like Fire Emblem. I'm just not a Fire Emblem fan. Maybe I'll give it a go on the Switch, but at the same time, I'd have to pay a full $60 for this game when I could just maybe pay $20 to $40 for a 3DS, but then I have to turn on my 3DS. So that just leaves me to just not want to buy it. But just to me, Fire Emblem has never been enjoyable to me. It's very enjoyable too. It's got its own huge fan base, which props to you guys. You guys are dedicated hardcore fans. That's the only other thing they could show, is maybe give a title, and possibly a release date, because May, I feel like the game might come out in May. But again, Animal Crossing could also come out in May and just be like the pre-summer or the summer game to play. It's really, really, really awkward to me to think. There's only two other things I could think of that could possibly be in the Direct that are huge titles. Zelda, they give us a Zelda thing because you got the 23rd anniversary of Legend of Zelda. Again, it's not some crazy thing that's coming up, but it's definitely something that is something we need something. Like, it'd be cool maybe to get, a port of a game, or like, here's a fun little game for you. And all signs are honestly pointing to a remaster of a game, and Skyward Sword is the only other one I can think of that would be like a huge announcement, huge announcement, because I never played Skyward Sword, so I never even owned it, so I definitely would go out and pay $60 for the game. Or maybe they could do a Triforce collection. But again, let's think about this. Twilight Princess or Wind Waker probably would sell. Wind Waker, I think, would sell a hell of a lot more on the Switch. But Twilight Princess would sell a shit ton. And the HD, compared to like its Wii U port HD version, whatever the fuck. Like, not a lot of people owned a Wii U, so they didn't really give a shit, and it probably didn't sell all that amazing well to make it worth it for the Wii U. Same thing with Wind Waker. Not a lot of people owned a Wii U, again. So it probably didn't sell as amazingly well to make it worth it. They probably maybe broke even on the time they put into porting it over and everything. But at the same time, I don't think it was all that time and all that worth it, because again, not a lot of people own a Wii U. So I think those two games ported on the Switch would be just fantastic, and you could probably put a $6 price tag on it, and people will buy it, because one, it's on the Switch. You can play in a loved Zelda game. Don't get me wrong, Breath of the Wild was an amazing launch game. It was probably it is up there with Majora's Mask for me, and Majora's Mask is my favorite Zelda game of all time. And it was just fucking phenomenal. I loved playing Breath of the Wild, but Twilight Princess was a well-known Zelda game. When it came out, when it was on the U, it's literally the Wii game that almost anybody knows about when they talk about a Wii and Nintendo exclusives. It's always like, oh, you got a Wii? Oh, you got Twilight Princess? Okay. That's it. Like, almost every person I've ever talked to that's ever owned a Wii had Twilight Princess. Whether they were a big Zelda fan, whether they were a Zelda fan or not, they more than likely had Twilight Princess. With Wind Waker has an insane fan base, where if you don't like Wind Waker, they will crucify you for it. And that's where it's just kind of like, why is this not, like, why haven't they, like, talked about doing this on the Switch? The Switch is selling phenomenal, especially after Christmas. You put it in there, hell, you could have it at the, like, end of February, beginning of March, and you could have an early March release or like a February release to go along with Zelda. Or like, I'm telling you, you release Twilight Princess or Wind Waker on the Switch, people will lose their fucking minds. And again, you could put a $60 price tag on it. People will fucking buy it. You will make your money back and some. Like, it'll be more than worth it. You'll make a shit ton, because Switch fans, Zelda fans, and just gamers, because those Twilight Princess and Wind Waker is one of the two recent popular games. Yeah, they're old as shit, and both of them were on the GameCube, and one of them was on the Wii. They are still immensely popular, and people love the fucking shit out of them. So if they ported over it, and hell, they could even do a trifecta trilogy. Have your Triforce trilogy, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You could port over Skyward Sword, right? You port over Skyward Sword for the anniversary, and then at Christmas time, or around Christmas time, you could release a Triforce trilogy, having Twilight, Wind Waker, and Skyward Sword all in one game, and just guarantee you could put a $6 price tag on it, or charge $20 a piece for them. It'll be fucking, or $30 a piece, and maybe, one person buys one at a time. Like, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna play Twilight Princess and 100% it, or I'm gonna buy Wind Waker. You can make $30 like I said, if you released only one and put a $60 price tag on it, it'll fucking sell. So yeah, that's why I feel like if they released it, it'd just be fucking amazing. Same thing with Skyward Sword. You take out the motion controls, or maybe like give it a switch for motion controls, because you have to get it a switch. You put a little, like, in the menu or the in-game menu or whatever, pause menu, options, whatever the fuck. You could put a switch on it and give people the option, because a lot of people do use their Switch in handheld mode, and you don't want to force people to have to bust out their Joy-Cons, say they're in the car or something, and they have to like swing and point and shit like that. So you probably maybe just take away the motion controls altogether, because that was the biggest complaint about Skyward Sword. As well as you could, just like I said, just give it a switch. So like, and like I'm in TV mode, so motion controls are there, or I'm in handheld mode, I don't have motion controls. Or maybe you'd be like, I'm in tabletop mode, so motion controls. I don't know. Like the options are there to put a Skyward Sword port there. That could be the only Zelda game, because they have mentioned that they do want to do a Zelda, or make Zelda a yearly thing, and I really don't feel like going year 2 into the Switch having a brand new sequel or just another Zelda game is good for it. That's probably maybe a 3-year wait. Put a 3-year thing in there, port some Zelda games over, because we had Hyrule Warriors last year, so that's technically a Zelda game they had last year. So you bring over, just do another port, Skyward Sword. People would be happy about that. Or you could do Twilight Princess and or Wind Waker. Then you could do all 3 in one game, and it would just be amazing. Like I said, you could charge $60 for that, or $30 a piece for download only. Fucking worth it, dude. People will fucking buy that shit, man. Especially if you put it in a fucking trilogy with all 3. People will fucking lose their minds. So yeah, and then, like I said, the online thing. With recent news of yesterday, I think it was either it was on a Sunday or Monday, I can't fucking remember. But people had data mined, and they leaked out, or they found remnants of SNES games within the Nintendo Online app or whatever, to show that Nintendo does want to put SNES games on the Switch. Maybe they're kind of just in beta testing for maybe like employees, or a select group of people, or just something. Like the SNES games are there. There's a full list of them out there of just amazing games, but there's no Final Fantasy, there's no Donkey Kong, no no Earthbound. So it's kind of like, it all seems legit, and it was, the person who did data mine it, they did, find that people are like, or the person that did data mine it, and like put out the information out there originally, he has been a proven reliable source. So it's not like this could just be like, oh, this guy's not reliable, or he hasn't done anything before to proven that he was right. So we can't trust this. This is pretty trustworthy, and all that. Sorry about that cut. I just had a text message from my girlfriend, so I had to take care of that. Just saying. So sorry for the cut. Sorry for all those fights. Anyways, moving on. It shows Nintendo wants to put the SNES games on here on the Switch, and it's kind of, I don't know. For me, I never really played. I only played like the well-known NES games, Zelda. Zelda, Mario, Super Mario Brothers World 3, I think it is. Metroid. And other than that, I hadn't really played any NES games, so it wasn't all that much to me. And I grew up that's why I have a huge love and appreciation for video games, because of growing up playing those games. And because I had an SNES when I was younger. I was really young. I was maybe 4 at the time when my brother got an SNES. So I think he had an NES. I don't really remember, to be honest. It's really hard to say. But anyways, I'm about to go on a tangent, or I was about to get sidetracked. But with NES games, it wasn't really too connecting there. The only real game I actually had a love and a desire was Zelda, was like The Legend of Zelda, and that's because I have a goal of beating every single Legend of Zelda game. It is on a bucket list of mine. I'm still working on the first Legend of Zelda. It's, oh my god. I guess you could say I am, I guess I've just grown accustomed to being directed where to go. Like, I had to look up where to go on Zelda for the original Legend of Zelda. So it was just really weird for me to not have any direction whatsoever. It was just kind of like, oh, there's enemies. Take this sword, go. Just leave. Just get the fuck out of here. And it was just really weird to me to, like I said, not have a direction. Not being told, here's Dungeon 1, here's Dungeon 2. Like, Breath of the Wild wasn't even, like, go hit these dungeons in a specific order, but the dungeons were there. I had the map. There's not really much of a map in that game. It's probably, I can... like, the map's there. It's just really hard to figure out what the fuck, dude. It's so fucking frustrating. So I did have to look up a walkthrough. The game's not yet beat yet. It's like a slow crawl to it, just because it's not all that. Well, that game is really hard to play and beat because the drive and the push story-wise is not there, and that's just what I've grown accustomed to with Zelda games, is to have that drive, that story, that push to make you want to beat the game. Just that goes for really, I could go for really any game. That's why I like really story-driven games. They just get me. They are amazing. I like the side stuff too, but at the same time, if that drive to accomplish, or that little push, like, hey, go do this or else you can't progress, it's not really there. It's just kind of like, yeah, you gotta do this, but there's no really telling you. It's just like a true blind Zelda playthrough in a way, and it's not even intended for that. It's literally that's just how the game was, because that's all they really could do with the game at the time, with the hardware and everything. So it's really annoying. It's hard to. It's really hard to want to play that game, really. With Link to the Past, because that was on the list, it'll be nice because there's a story, there's a drive. I hadn't beat that game 100% yet, so yeah, I could have done it on 3DS, but I just hadn't. So it'll be nice to play this. The funny part is I actually own the Game Boy version of Link to the Past when they ported that on Game Boy Advance. But I lended it to a friend, and then I never got the game back, so that really sucked. Yeah, so I'm really honestly hoping that this actually does happen. That's something that they could announce in this direct, or just to get some hype train going. Maybe not say and after the direct, or be right now there's an update going out or whatever. Or at least, say, hey, SNES games are coming to the Switch. Be prepared, blah, 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 this summer, or whatever the fuck. It would be nice. It'd be cool. It would be great, at least, because there's a lot more SNES games that are more enjoyable. There's just because it was better hardware at the time, and it's probably to a more wider audience, because let's be honest, a lot of the Switch owners, I wouldn't say a lot, but a majority. There's a decent sized audience of Switch owners that are young kids, and they would probably look at the SNES games and be like, there's Mario, that's it. Or be like, there's Zelda, oh, this is boring. So after being spoiled with Breath of the Wild, if that was their first one, or like, you know, previous generations like Wind Waker, or, you know, if their parents got them a Wii U, stuff like that. So it's really hard to, for me personally, and I'm a huge Zelda fan. I love Zelda. It's really hard for me to play that game, and I love Zelda a lot. And it's because I've just grown accustomed to the story-driven, go here and do X thing for Y result. So yeah, I mean, I'm actually really close to beating it. I think I have only like 3 more dungeons left, and I beat the game. So yeah, because I just got the Master Sword. Yeah, so it's really hard to say. So yeah, let's just kind of recap everything I've talked about that is for Nintendo. Is, you know, if they were to have a Direct soon, no one would know much anything. The only thing they really would announce, I feel, that is more than 99% sure that it's going to be on the Direct, Animal Crossing gameplay and or title, Fire Emblem, and that's really about it that I can 99% guarantee will be there. And the other things that are chances, like there may be like 50% chance, is Luigi's Mansion, maybe Crystal Chronicles. There's just a small chance for SNES. I don't think it'll be there, but it's probably there. And other than that, it'd probably just be a bunch of other just release date or just like announcements for games. Like other games that could be talked about is Metroid Prime 4, because we know fucking nothing about it. We don't even know a name, we just know it's Prime 4, that's it. Now I'm thinking about it, Bayonetta 3, because they announced it, but they hadn't shown anything. They just said it's coming. That's it. So yeah, it's definitely really interesting to think what could be in a Nintendo Direct for January. And no one really knows when it's happening either, because the only reason why I feel like that I know of that would cause it to be delayed is, like I said, that CES convention, just that tech convention, the largest tech convention or whatever. And I'm pretty sure Nintendo was there. There was also the tweet from Nintendo or whatever that says, in New York, we're closing this off for a private meeting or something like that. It was on Twitter, and people were like, "Oh, it's because they're filming Nintendo Direct." Blah 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 blah. It's like, you guys realize that the company does other things too. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. It's awkward to think, and it's really hard to try and figure out what the fuck is going on in Nintendo right now. But it's also kind of good, because I like to be surprised. I like to be shocked. I like to think I know something, and then they're just like, "Hey, you forgot about this. Here's this cool new thing." And you're like, "Oh, dude, I didn't even think about that." So yeah, it's really weird to think about. So that's really it for Nintendo. If you guys can think of anything, or you guys want to give me your opinion for Nintendo, for the Nintendo Direct, then go ahead, hit in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think, or you can tweet at me on Twitter at OSDuelist12. The last thing I want to talk about, and it is my big announcement, is if you guys had to listen to the podcast last year, definitely last year, I don't remember when, but a previous older podcast episode, there it was, I had talked about me creating a game. Well, here's an update to that X months later. I took a break on it just because I was really running myself like ragged with that thing, and I was getting I was getting little to no sleep, trying to work on that, have a social life and go to work. So I was running myself ragged to the point where I was getting like 3 to 4 hours, 5 if I was lucky. So yeah, I finally decided to start working on it again. And when I did, I started to work on some dialogue, and then I was like, I don't fucking remember this shit. So I decided to play it through. Got maybe halfway through what I had done, and was like, what the fuck is going on? So I couldn't remember, like, I literally realized I could not tell a story for shit. So I decided to just run a quick test of something. I would, like, subtract a little bit, like, a lot from the story to try and, like, not run into that issue and try to keep it to bare bones minimum. Almost any dialogue was related to the story, and story alone just for this. And then it turned out that it ran a lot better. I focused a lot more into gameplay, like, mechanics, enemies, play, little things to help the player, like, just enjoy the experience a little bit more. And it seemed to be, I enjoyed it a lot, and then I also showed it to Josh, who's been on the podcast before. But I showed him some, I let him play what I had done. I noticed little tweaks to do while he was playing it, and then I'd fix it real quick, and then he'd do another run through of it, and he enjoyed it a lot. He had tons of fun. Because let's be honest, Josh will give me, he won't hold back on his opinion, so he'll tell me if it sucked. Yeah, he said when it's done, he'll definitely play it. So with that being said, my huge announcement is I will be having a functioning demo coming soon. I don't have a date yet because there's still a little bit more things I want to do and I want to perfect. And even after that demo goes out, I'm still going to be adding things and working and tweaking. But I will be having a playable demo. It'll be one of the dungeons. I'll just let you know now. It's one of the dungeons that you'll be playing through. And I will probably add added features for the demo just to get people a little bit more hype for the game. The name, I don't have a name, so I'll have to come up that's another reason why the game's not, why I don't have a date for or an actual when the demo will be there or will be ready. But I will let you know here in the next couple of months the demo will be ready, because I have to work on a name because I don't have an official name for the game yet. With that, I'll have to work on a graphic, a title graphic screen, whatever. Oh, excuse me. And that's something that I'll definitely have to work on. So yeah, I just want to let you guys know, and it's definitely compared to what it was before, and like I've talked to Josh about this, about the previous version, just how terrible it was, and he was like, yeah, I kind of wish I didn't play that version. And after him playing this, I've revamped the entire game. There's a lot more to do already, and it definitely can give you. It took him to play from beginning to what I had done, which was literally tutorial, or like intro tutorial, and then I had an dungeon done at the time of him him playing through it. It took him maybe an hour and a half to get through all that, so it was really nice to see that happen, to see him actually be able to play through that. And I'm implementing what has to be done, like some of the changes right now, so I'm doing the changes, and after that's done, and after I've perfected the changes, we'll be getting a title. I'll be working on a title, yeah, then I'll be working on the demo copy. And like I said, it'll just be one singular demo, or one singular dungeon with an added feature that will be will be a really cool feature that will be added upon throughout the actual game itself. So the part that Josh played will be added features, an actual title, plus, or the dungeon, which he did play through that dungeon, and the added feature that like I wanted to have as a side thing basically for the game, to give you more to do than just play the story and that's it. So be very excited for that, because when that demo goes up, I will announce it right here on the Voidcast. I will have a link to download, plus I probably will dedicate a segment to the game when that happens, because I'll probably talk about it. I'll only focus on the demo. So yeah, so be excited for that. I'm excited. I'm really excited to talk about it. I've been working really hard on it. Just like before, I did kind of run myself ragged. I've actually had to force myself to take a break and sleep and all that fun stuff, because if it was up to me, if I could work on it for a good amount of time, I probably would work on it, sleep, eat, work on it, eat, sleep, work on it, and that's probably would be it until it's done. But actually, I have to live a life. I have to see people. I have to work. I have to ditch the I still got to live my life and try to work on this at the same time. It's really hard to do. It's really hard to balance, but I'm getting it done. And the nice when I do force myself to not want to work on it, which I want to work on it, I have to force myself not to work on it. It's nice to get that little break. So especially like if I went to go see my girlfriend or went hung out with friends, that little break in between is extremely well needed and extremely nice, because then I could just not think about it, but yet I'm still thinking about it. So that does it for this week's episode of the Voidcast. If you guys like what you listen to, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm truly sorry that this episode's late. Like I said, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff right now. Actually doing the podcast actually did help me. One, not think about it. Two, bring like my spirits up a little bit, and that's kind of why I started the podcast in the first place. So having that actually happen in front of me and realizing that was nice. But yeah, thank you guys for watching and or listening to this week's episode of the Voidcast. Like I said, if you guys like what you're listening to, hit that subscribe button, or you can follow me on all the other platforms it's on, because it is on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and audioboom.com. And audioboom.com is the main reason why the podcast exists on those. So go find me on those as well and follow me there. You guys can also follow me on Twitter at OSDuelist12. Every time a video goes up, there's a link straight there on the Twitter. So if your YouTube stuff isn't working, then you can go ahead and follow me on Twitter, and you'll definitely get a notification if you check Twitter. Also Facebook, facebook.com/OSDuelist12. I stream on Twitch. I haven't streamed recently, and that's just because I've been busy. But Twitch is twitch.tv/OSDuelist12. What a surprise. But yeah, guys, thank you, and have a wonderful, beautiful night, day, thing, or whatever.